Hello. You gonna miss me when I'm gone? You gonna miss me this weekend? Yeah, you are. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. And Cleo's channel too at this point. Today I am hopping on here because I am going to another plant swap in Scotland. This is our first ever plant swap outside of London, so we are super duper excited for it. And I just don't know what to expect. Is it gonna be the same? Is it gonna be different? Obviously I know what we've put into it, and we're gonna make it the best swap we possibly can, but it's just gonna be a whole new bunch of people that we've never met before, which is exciting but also quite scary. But since I'm leaving very early tomorrow morning, so tomorrow's Saturday, the swap is on Sunday, because I'm leaving very early tomorrow morning, I'm not gonna have time to she really doesn't want me to go, to pack my swaps and share with you what I'm bringing before I go. So I'm going to be doing that today, showing you what I am bringing, and then we can go to the plant swap together and I'll show you what I bring back. But before I show you anything, I just want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. Yeah, let's get into it and I can show you what I am bringing with me. So the first thing, I have them all lined up here. The first thing is this Monstera Adansonii that I cut back to nothing, and it has popped back up very well, super duper healthy. I'm just not that into it anymore. It's just not something that I feel like I need to have in my collection. It sounds bad, but it's also one that I know I could definitely get quite easily if I decided that I actually really wanted one again. So this is the first one. This is me Adansonii done at this point once this one gets swapped away, but there's several more growth points in there as well. A few there, there's one there. It is just popping off. So I think this is going to be a really great plant for somebody. It's got a super established root system, so that's why I didn't want to just throw it away. The next thing, I found this the other day when I was looking at my ZZ Raven, is this little ZZ tuber and leaf, and it's actually got some new growth in there as well. I'm going to pot this one up. I've actually not prepped any of these, so I'm showing you them exactly how I'm bringing them, because I haven't had time to put them together yet. So I'm going to be potting this up into a little pot with soil. It does feel a little bit dry, so I'll make sure I'll give it a good water before I go, but there's a lot of water in these tubers, so it should be fine. Next, I've got a couple more cuttings of my Peperomia Frost. They're more on the big side for my plant. My plant is still very small, but I am just excited to start sharing the love of it because I have really been enjoying my Peperomia Frost, so hopefully I can encourage more people to enjoy them as well. But another really great thing about Peperomia in general is that you don't actually need any nodes to propagate them. So I've just got 2 stem cuttings and I'm going to wrap them in whatever, and the person who gets them can either root them like this, or they can chop the leaves and root them like that. There's different options there, which is super exciting. I'm gonna be bringing my red paperclip plant. I've just not really had the time since the last swap to actually be active on my red paperclip journey. Those of you who watched my last swap haul, I've kind of got a mission to see how far I can swap my a golden pothos, to see how high up I can get it in terms of rarity or value or whatever. But I started with a golden pothos, and at the last swap I swapped it for this, which is a Syndapsis Silver Queen, I believe. Someone wanted to fill out their pothos at home and they traded this for it. And then I'm going to trade this at this swap and see where I can get to and where this long swap goes. See how far I can get, which is exciting. So I'm excited to see what I get for this one. I will do my best to remember what I'm swapping for what, but I cannot guarantee anything. It's kind of like all a blur once you get there sometimes. I've got some fresh cuts of Cebu Blue pothos that I just chopped off one of my plants. I think this one's got leaves on it, and then these two are wet sticks, but this one's a top cut. So that is going to be one thing. I'm showing these in bundles of what would be a single thing. These are my 3 Syndapsis, I think Silver Cloud or something of that nature. I think it's a Silver Cloud. But these are the ones that I rooted in my Trying TikTok Plant Hacks video, where I put it with the pothos to see if they would grow roots faster. And they definitely did. I can't remember which one's which now because they all look about the same because I stopped doing the experiment, but they definitely started rooting a lot faster with the pothos. If you haven't seen that already, spoiler alert, sorry. But these 3 I'm going to be putting together in one. And then I also have the pothos from that as well, because I know a lot of people have pothos, but they're simply fabulous and they're such easy like go-to plants that I don't care. I'm always going to be propagating pothos and bringing it to these swaps because I love it and I don't care if it's a basic plant, and I want more people to love it as well. These are Monstera siltificanas. We've got 3 or 4 cuttings here, and all of these are rooted. They've been rooting in water for ages and they're doing pretty well. This was the one that did have pests at some point, but I have double checked that there are no pests on any of these because I don't want to be bringing pests to the swap. We do advise that you check your plants for pests, or at least the ones you're bringing, before you go. Like, I mean, I almost always have some sort of pests in my collection, so I'm just making sure that I'm taking healthy plants rather than ones that have pests for this sort of thing. I'm gonna bring this as well, which is another Epibremnum. This is cuttings from my Epibremnum Kujang, but to be honest, it just looks like a normal freaking pothos or a normal pinatum at this point. I think it's more closely related to a pinatum, but I'm just not feeling this plant anymore. It's not got the like nice yellowy variation that I want. The splits haven't grown. I'm just feeling done with it, so somebody else can enjoy it. And then this one is some cuttings from my Hoya Rosita, which I'm super stoked about. It is, I mean, literally fresh cut. I just cut these now, and hopefully they will travel fine. They're both top cuts, so they should just like continue growing. But yeah, that is exciting. I think somebody will like those. I had to include some Hoya in here because I love Hoya and I like sharing the love of the Hoya. And then the last thing that I have that is kind of my like special plant in case I see something that I really, really want. And like it's my one thing that I'm bringing that's like a bit more expensive and like slightly more valuable. But it is a Monstera obliqua cutting. And it's just a cutting in there, and it's got 2 tiny little leaves on it, but it is doing fairly well. It is, like, I got it from a wet stick, and I do have other Monstera obliquas now as well, so I don't feel like that I need to hang on to it. So this is going to be my like special plant that I might save to like trade for something quite special. Normally I don't, like, I'm not too picky about what I'm trading for, and value doesn't mean much, but because this one I know holds a little bit more value, this is probably the one that I'm the most like protective over. Sorry if the camera moved, Cleo is there. But yeah, that's kind of the most fancy of the stuff that I'm bringing. Other than that, I'd be happy to like literally bring all of these. Hey, no, thank you. I'd be happy to like come home with nothing and just have like given stuff away and traded for people. So that is what I'm bringing, and I guess I will pack them all up now so you can kind of see how I'm going to do that. But I'll put some music over it, montage it, and tomorrow I will make my way up to Scotland to go to another plant swap. So yeah, let's pack my plants. It's 7 in the morning and I'm going to Scotland! I missed you, little one. Do you miss me? No. Okay. I'm back, and I have a box here full of freaking goodies. Oh my goodness. I had so much fun up in Scotland. I absolutely loved swapping with everyone up there. Like, it was just so cool, and I got to like meet a bunch of new people, which I quite like as well, because I've never met any like Scotland plant people besides maybe like a handful, and so now I feel like I have gotten to know a lot more people, and kind of like we've broadened the community basically of plant swappers, which is part of our goals as another plant swap, is to like bring community together and introduce people who might not have otherwise met each other. So it was so much fun to like have our first swap outside of London. Like, that is pretty freaking crazy. Who knew that when we were starting the plant swap, what, a year and a half ago, that we would be like, I suppose international even, if England and Scotland count as different countries, which I mean technically they are, so like exciting. But yeah, let's have a look at what I got from the swap. So also I had to remember that I was literally coming home on the train, so I couldn't bring too much stuff back with me, like plant wise, because I was also carrying all the stuff from the swap, like all the materials, like signs and posters and banners and whatever. So I had to be like very selective about my choices. And oh, I think I have sorry, I need to be very careful going in here because there may or may not be something very spiky. But I again wrote down everything that I swapped for because I find it like immensely useful. Otherwise I would literally forget every single time. So the first thing I swapped was swapped away was my ZZ Raven. Someone was really keen on that, and I swapped it for these little peperomias titled Peperomia something. I don't exactly know what they are, but they're in this tiny little cup here. They look kind of similar to the Burbella I have, but different. They're like green with more reddy purple middles. So I'm excited to see like how these grow. I mean, you'll be really proud of me. I have quite a lot of peperomia in this box. Like, that was one of the things that I was like really keen on swapping for because it's something that I've either tried and failed or I want to try, and I'm getting better at them, so why not try more? And I feel like they're such easy props, and if I get them in a swap, I'm not as afraid to kill them. Obviously I don't want to kill any plants, duh, but if I get them in a swap, it's not like I've paid money to like kill them. It doesn't feel like as much of a loss. Like, obviously it's sad, but it's not like the end of the world. So yeah, that was my first swap of the day, my little ZZ, which I'm so glad that somebody wanted. I was a bit worried that some of the plants that I brought were a bit like basic, like the golden pothos, the ZZ plant, the Adansonii. Those are like super like common plants, but they were still ones that like absolutely were wanted by people. So it's one of the things I always try and tell people when they're like afraid of going to the swap because they've got like too basic of plants or they're like too simple. That does not matter at all. You will still make swaps, and there's some, like, I would say that this is a basic plant as well, and I wanted it, and I've got 200 houseplants. Like, it's got different collection value for different people based off of what they have and what they don't have. If they don't have something, it's got higher collection value, and they're more likely to swap something that might be higher monetary value. Like, I love our whole system. It's just like my favorite thing in the world. I am so proud of us at the swap. But this was the first thing that I swapped away. The next thing that I saw, this was another peperomia, because I saw these and I was like, I freaking need them. So the last one, somebody approached me asking for a ZZ plant, and we went over to their table and we picked something to swap. The next one, I saw these and I was like, I need them, please. And so these are two like funky peperomias, like the weirdest ones. Like, I've never actually seen ones like this in the UK, which is super exciting. So this is a peperomia freckles, I believe, and it's like super duper variegated, and it's got a little pink stem, and it's just a stem cutting. I still can't decide if I'm gonna prop it in water or leaf propagate it, or just put it straight into soil and like give it really high humidity. I'm not sure. And then the other one of this swap is this, which is a peperomia pink lady, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on these IDs because this one's obviously not pink, so what is it? But it is just so cool, like variegated peperomias. So funky. Look at that variegation. And this one does have roots already. She pulled it out of some soil, and it might have some new growth on it already, which is super exciting. So I am going to put this back into some soil like straight away, and again give it quite high humidity. But I traded these two beautiful things for my Syndapsis Silver Splash, and I figured like that's like a fairly even trade. I don't like saying that, but I feel like the Silver Splash, which I called a cloud in my first thing, I feel like it's like a bit of a rarer Syndapsis for some like rarer peperomias, so that is really fun. And then I traded away my Cebu Blue because somebody was really keen on them, and I actually traded it for a Calathea White Fusion, which I don't have here, and I actually don't have at all anymore. There was a lovely, lovely, lovely swapper who unfortunately wasn't able to make it until quite late in the day after pretty much everybody had gone home already, and oh, it just broke my heart because like they were so excited to swap. They were commenting on all our posts and like they were so keen on it, and unfortunately they weren't able to swap with the majority of people, and so I traded away that Claythea White Fusion for this. That's actually really funny. For a Cebu Blue, but this one's got some fenestrations in it, which it's like super duper exciting to me. But it's funny because I traded my Cebu Blue for the White Fusion for the Cebu Blue. And normally I wouldn't trade like that, but since I had traded all of my stuff away, it was one of the plants that I was not least excited for, but most nervous about, and so it was also one that they wanted, so I traded a Cebu Blue for a Cebu Blue. And also, I've got no problem with people like swapping for things throughout the day. Like if you find a swap that you really want and you don't have anything to swap left, you know, like they can swap with something that you've swapped for already. Like fine, I have no problem with that as long as everyone's chill and like no one gets offended by it, which I don't think they should because they're all just plants and we're all just swapping and having a good time. So hopefully whoever gave me that White Fusion, you're not mad at me because I did really like it. It was just they also really liked it, and I really liked this Cebu Blue with fenestrations because I don't have any Cebu Blue with fenestrations either, so it's a bit of an exciting thing for me. I can't believe I traded a Cebu Blue for a Cebu Blue, essentially. That's quite funny. But that was quite an early on swap, the Cebu Blue for the White Fusion. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have that one here with me anymore. I traded away some Peperomia Frost for another Peperomia. Gosh, it looks like I've basically only traded Peperomia, but I promise these are the last Peperomias. I traded away Peperomia Frost for these ones, which do look fairly similar to the Frost, but these are watermelon Peperomias, I believe. And I am very excited for these because I've had watermelon Peperomias before and they have not worked out for me. I have tried them, but I've not tried them since I've been good or okay at Peperomias. I feel like I'm doing air quotes a lot in this video. But I haven't tried them since I've been okay at Peperomias, so I'm excited to give these a go and try to propagate them and see if I can grow myself a big watermelon Peperomia plant. That's going to be super duper fun. This next plant I got, I'm pretty sure they just gave it to me for nothing because they know that I like a Synapsis, and it's a Synapsis Silver Ann. The plant I have of the Silver Ann is like quite small. I've not been treating it the best, and this person said they've been struggling with the Silver Ann, and so they wanted to give it to me because they know I love Synapsis and I can hopefully give it a better home, which I'm actually super excited about because this leaf is just, it is everything. So I think this is a middle cut. I'm not sure. It does have a cut there. I have to take it out and look at the roots if there are any, but it should be absolutely fine. I am excited for this one. I'll just probably keep it in some moss for a little while, maybe even pop it in my prop box and see if that will work for me. So the next one is the last one I have in this box to show you. Everything else is like different and we can talk about that in a second, but I need to be careful pulling this one out. Oh, I'm also really freaking excited about this one because this was one that I sought out. If I can freaking take it out of this box. Okay, yeah, we got it. Ow. Sorry, I actually just got one in my finger that I need to pull out. This! Look at this cactus. It is a no ID, so if anyone is familiar with what type of cactus it is, that would be super duper useful to me. And it does have some flowers on it, but these flowers are dead, so I'm probably going to pull them off. I'm not really sure how they work, but I'm like perfectly fine with pulling them off. The flowers weren't why I wanted it. Oh, they just come right off. Easy peasy. Okay. Don't need to worry about that anymore. That's how I like it. Okay, there we go. look at this freaking chunky boy. And it's got like 2 little babies in there as well. It's only a little bit phallic. But it is just such a cool thing. And it's got like another baby in there as well. Oh, this like, oh my goodness. Y'all know how much I'm getting into cacti lately. You understand. And I need more like big cacti. I think this is a cacti. It could be a succulent. It looks to me like a cacti, so I'm going to call it that. But I need more big sort of cacti to put into my Rudsta since I've turned it into a cacti cabinet. So this is like the perfect thing. I think I probably will end up putting this in semi-hydro at some point, but probably not today. It's just such a funky thing, but these spikes are lethal. So repotting this one is going to be a mission. Maybe I'll bring y'all along with me to show you how I would repot a cactus like this, because it is so kind of scary to repot, and I have stabbed myself, as you saw, a couple times. I had to pull a thing out of my finger today, just now, but it is so good. It's also really, really heavy, so that's what made carrying this box home so difficult. It's just really, really heavy, but I am in love with it, and I sought this out. So I traded this one for my Adansonii that the person really, really wanted. I was like, can I have this? And then we went over to my station, and they were like, oh, can I have that? And I'm like, yes, this is what I love. So that is so exciting. Put that there. It's a little bit wonky too, which I kind of love. The last swap that I made, or one of the last swaps I made, is for a plant that I actually don't have on me at the minute. It was a little bit too big to fit into my box, and so Claire very kindly offered to hold on to it for a second because she drove up with her partner, and so it was more easy for them to take it home than me, and I will pick it up next time I see her. But this is my red paperclip swap. I swapped my Synapsis Silver Queen for this Philodendron Melanochrysum. Like this big Philodendron Melanochrysum. Like it is, like I have this bit of footage that I took from earlier in the swap, and it's this one right here. Oh my goodness. It was actually quite huge. Each of the leaves is like this big, which is super exciting, and I feel like that's like a really good swap up. Because like Melanochrysums, even though they're like decreasing in value, they're still a bit more uncommon, and especially one with like such big leaves in such nice condition, I think will be a really great swap to swap forward. So that is very, very exciting. If anyone is keen on swapping for this giant Melanochrysum, I'll let you know when I have it, and I'll show it to you properly, and maybe we can do a bit of a swap. We can talk about how we can further my red paperclip journey with this. So far I've gone from Golden Pothos to Synapsis Silver Queen to Philodendron Melanochrysum, which I feel like is a great progression. I am definitely going in the right direction, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I think I just need to be a bit more active with my swapping for that, because I've kind of, it's not been my priority these last couple months. Really quick, I just realized I didn't talk about any of the plants that I gave away. So I ended up giving away, so I've got my notes here, my Epipremnum Kujang, my Hoya Rosita, my Monstera Stultipicana, the Golden Pothos, and I actually ended up giving away the Obliqua as well, because why freaking not? I know I said I was like gonna hopefully trade for something really good for it, but like I got there and I just didn't care anymore. Like I just want people to enjoy things, so I ended up giving all of those away for nothing, and I have no problem with that, and I'm glad they're going to like new loving homes. So yeah, those are the last of the plants. The very last thing that I do want to show you that I got from the swap, I'm actually going to pull it out of the bag because it is freaking adorable. So someone gave this to me because they made it. It is a little Cleo keychain that I think they felted it themselves, with a little leaf behind it. I feel like this is kind of like a bird of paradise leaf, but look how good the little Cleo is. This like, oh, it makes me feel so like blessed, but it's just so freaking adorable. I love this so much. So thank you. You know who you are. thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, it's just so adorable. And I'm gonna like hang this on my shelf or something. Like, oh, everyone's just so freaking sweet. Like, it was honestly the best time. I had so much fun, and I was a bit worried going up to Scotland because it's just something we'd not done before, and I think it turned out so great, and everyone really, really loved the swap, and I did too. And also I did a talk at it with Claire. Like, we just answered some questions, talked about pests and soil and fertilizer and all that really good stuff. So it was a really, really, really good time, and I would like 100% do it again. I really, really enjoyed it. Ow, I have another freaking stabby thing in my hand. So yeah, that is it. That is everything I got up in Edinburgh at Another Plant Swap Scotland. I had so much fun. I've said that like a bunch in this video. I really, really enjoyed myself. But before I log off, I want to say a huge thank you to the newest members of my Good Growing fam over on Patreon. Thank you so much, Amanda Ife and Cindy, for joining in. I really hope you love it over there and get to enjoy the live chat that we're doing so soon. If you didn't know, I do a live chat like once a month where we like all get on Zoom and hang out and like talk plants or whatever, and or like play games. We've done a quiz before. We've had guest speakers. It is just such a fun time and a really great way for me to get to know my patrons and like their collections. So thank you, Amanda and Cindy, for joining. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that is it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment about other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future. Anywhere you'd want us to come with another plant swap, let us know down below in the comments, and we can try and make that happen in the future. Like, you never know where we'll be next year. Who knows? But yeah, let me know down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!